Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be getting into another Hack the Box machine. This is going to be Stalker, an easy rated machine. Let's start off with an overview in 60 seconds. We start off with Kali Linux, we do a little port scanning, we learn about the domain stalker.htb. From here we do some subdomain enumeration, we learn about dev.stalker.hackthebox, and then a little NoSQL injection login bypass on the top to get us into the dev.stalker.htb login platform. From here in the backend, we learn about API order, where we conduct an iframe injection for credentials found in a sensitive file, index.js. From here, we are able to log in over SSH. We do a little internal enumeration, and of course, we find a SUID bit. We're able to do a SUID path hijack, if I can call it that. That gets us access as root. We just do pop a malicious shell. Other than that, let's get into it. All right, jumping right into things here, we start off with our enumeration, where we see we have a narrow attack surface. Only two ports are open. Port 80 is over here, and there is a redirect to stalker.hackthebox. So we know our subdomain that we're going to add to our etc host file. Let's do that right now and go on over and visit the website. All right, we are here at the website, and we can initially see that there's not a whole lot going on this website. Nothing interactive, no user input is being accepted, nothing to do with files. There's not even a login page. So from here, we're going to pivot and start doing a little bit of directory searching. So we're going to jump right in and use dir search. All right, let's go ahead and execute dir search. And let's just give it a quick minute to run and do its thing. All right, so we can see that we're getting some directories, but these are just the normal directories that you get almost every time. So let's go ahead, change things up, and do a little subdomain enumeration here with ffuf. Having a look here at the command line, let me make it a little bigger. We can see the command that I've chosen to use. So ffuf-w for word list. Of course, our word list, you can use any word list, then -u for the URL, followed by -h for the host, and we put the fuzz, the FUZZ, where we want to enumerate. And we're going to start with subdomain enumeration here, and if we don't find anything, we can maybe try doing stalker.something else, but we'll start in the front here of the primary domain, and we'll do -c for colors, and then we'll grep for 302, which is the response if something is found. So let's go ahead and launch that. And we can see it found a subdomain, and this is going to be the dev subdomain. So the first thing we're going to do is add this to our etc host list, and then we're going to go over and browse there over HTTP. Let's take a look. And you can see that we are indeed greeted with a login page. And unfortunately, there are no default credentials to log in here. The trick here is to use a NoSQL injection attack, which I had no idea NoSQL was running. So if you know how to tell that this target was running NoSQL, please comment down below. However, I learned through the Hack the Box forums, people were talking about NoSQL. At which point I started going down the rabbit hole, I guess it wasn't a rabbit hole, of NoSQL injection on Hacktricks, all the way down to the login bypass, and that worked. So let me demonstrate. So I've just spun up Burp Suite and intercepted the communication to the login page, passing only simple characters just to see what it looks like. And you can see we have a couple things here. One, our content type is a URL encoded form, of course. Secondly, the connection has closed here. Thirdly, the credentials and passwords. So it's not encrypted, it's just there in plain text. What we're going to do to get that past this part, and just remember, this took me a while to get through. This is not something I did in a couple of minutes, but rather something that took me several days. So having a look at the Hacktricks NoSQL injection basic authentication bypass, the first command here will actually work. So we'll copy this We'll just pop it in right here all together. We're going to send this over to repeater. We need to change a couple things. So first, we don't want the connection to close. Secondly, we want this to be JSON because it's NoSQL, and NoSQL uses JSON. And I think this is it. And how we can test this is by sending it. If we do send it and it's not a failed login response, I think that means we're in the clear. Okay, this is actually, I haven't seen this before. So I totally made a mistake. I got a little excited and I selected basic authentication bypass when within I copied a URL payload. What I meant to do was copy the JSON payload. I did try the URL payload and it just didn't work. But if we try the JSON payload, we'll pop that in here. This is our repeater. Hopefully it works. And we can see it worked. It's actually redirecting us to the stock page. So let's go over and have a look. And here we have our landing page where there are 3 items, or 4, excuse me, to buy. This is a very simple page. There's nothing we need to focus on more than what's right in front of us. If we click on some items and add them to the basket, we can click View Cart. Let's see what this web application does, because it's very clear at this point that we have to investigate this web application and figure out what it does and to somehow take advantage of that or exploit it. Let me turn our intercept off just to see what kind of happens on the first go through here. So we've submitted our purchase. We have a order ID and an option to view the purchase, which we're doing now. And the purchase just says, it's our purchase. Let's go ahead and run through this again, but with Burp Suite and see if we can maybe do anything. The end goal here is the iframe injection. Let's submit purchase, and you can see it has this information here. So if we try changing the title, let's pass this. And at first, I thought this would be a server-side template injection or an SQL injection, and I just spun my wheels forever and got nowhere. If SQL worked for anyone here, or an SSTI attack, which I don't think is possible in this case, 'cause it's database. If anyone did it in a different way, just let me know. Let's go ahead and send this modified request. Before that, we will now look at our purchase order. And we'll see very clearly that the A characters are there. What we'll do from here is a little research and attempt an iframe injection attack. So starting this over again, we're going to go ahead and open up Burp Suite. Intercept is on. Some items are in the basket. We'll view the cart, submit the purchase, and here we go. And now what we're going to do is in the title section here, this is where we're going to add our iframe. So this is the iframe, and we're going to be doing a iframe tag with a source pointing at the file Etsy password and then closing the frame tag. So let's go ahead and forward this and see if it worked. We'll download the purchase order, and if we're lucky, it did. There it is. We can see our Etsy password. Now what we would need to do is make this a little bigger by adjusting the height and the width in our iframe. And then from there, we can actually see the user that we are targeting. And the user is indeed there. Let's adjust the height. One moment. Here we've added our height and width into the iframe. Sending that off, we'll download the order. And with any luck, drum roll, there it is. And we can see our user down here, Angus. This next part, however, I found a little tricky, and what we're going to have to do is continue going through this until we download the index.js file, because in that file, there are credentials which will allow access to the device. So the way we'll get access to this is by, again, repeating everything but pointing our iframe to that file. Let me demonstrate. And here it is. Our source file is var dev index.js. And again, I couldn't figure this out. It wasn't until someone, I think there was a hint on the website suggesting that you look at the subdomains folder. So I just started looking around randomly for hours and eventually found this. I was a little upset. Let's go ahead and forward this and see if it worked. We'll download the order, turn off intercept, the order should load, and we should see, yes, and here's the credentials. So the password is I heard passphrases are pretty secure at localhost. So let's go ahead and SSH on over into our target server. All right, we are in as user Angus. We can go ahead and cap the user flag, and you can see when we type who am I, user Angus. So what we're gonna do from here is quite simply do the sudo -l, and we learned that we're actually in the sudoers list to run user bin node user local scripts. And the way to exploit this vulnerability is seeing that we have the node reference here in the .js. We know that we can run JavaScript of some type. So the way to do this is, okay, my cat just woke up from a nap and hopped off me there. She'd fallen asleep on my lap earlier, so I feel a little more free to move, but let's jump right into this. What we're going to do is the user local scripts. We're going to perform kind of a path trajectory / hijack by doing chalk and our malicious script. And my cat has come back to, as you can see, let me pause it. The kitty would like to help. Sometimes maybe the cats aren't the most technically inclined. However, they definitely get the morale high and your spirit. All right, and in case any of that didn't make sense, what I'm doing is creating shell.js in user Angus home directory. And in here, I am using the payload all the things Node.js in particular, reverse shell. There are several that are offered. Let me just show everyone here. This is it. Again, just Google Swisskey repo payloads all the things, or just payload all the things. All right, taking this shell, we're gonna pop it in right here and just simply add our IP address. Having added our IP address and our port, we'll go ahead and save this, change the permissions, and then we're gonna go ahead, set up a listener and give this a shot. So for our listener, we'll do netcat-nlpp, port 6363, and then from here, we're going to do sudo /user bin node /user local scripts, and we'll do lots of change directories, and we'll finally do home Angus shell.js. And with any luck, this will work on the first time. It looks like it's kind of working. It says connect to. I'm not sure if I have a shell or not. Right, well, let's type ID and see. Oh, we're definitely root. Okay, there we go. Other than that, that's a wrap. Hope everyone enjoyed the box. Happy hack the boxing.